How's it going, YouTube world? This is USCG89, and this is actually my very first YouTube video. I am not a professional YouTuber. I am just somebody who loves Leatherman products and did not see a whole lot of videos out there about the new Wave Plus. I know it was introduced at SHOT Show 2018, so there's a couple guys who have put out videos, and I don't plan to go too in depth with it. But just wanted to show it to you guys and let you see it, compare it in size to a couple other Leathermans, and to just give you some basic thoughts on some Leathermans. This is the box that it came in. I ordered it directly from Leatherman. I think probably, yep, it's the 16th right now. For the first part of this month, they had a free engraving service when you ordered a Leatherman. So I was actually able to get mine engraved, which was awesome, for free. I got the Wave Plus in black. Not going to do an official unboxing because everybody knows that the guys that do unboxings probably have already taken them out to make sure that they're in good shape before they get into them. It's probably not the case all the time, but in this case, I'm not going to officially unbox it. It's sitting right here. So first off, get it out of the way. I don't know what sheath always comes with it. In my case, I got the Molly sheath, which I like. I'm kind of into preparedness, and I have a lot of bags, and so I like this sheath. I know it has some quality issues with some, but based on the amount of use I will use it, it's probably my favorite sheath to have, just the basic Velcro. I do have a really cool sheath that's coming that's a streamlined sheath from RAE Gear, and I'm hoping to do a little bit of a video with that one because that's probably the best sheath that I've actually seen for the Leatherman if you're the type of guy that doesn't want a giant sheath attached to your belt. I'm not that guy, but to be honest, a lot of times I conceal carry, and I have a small little Glock that I keep in a holster, in which case I can use the pocket clip right here. But a lot of times too, I like to keep that little pistol in my front pocket, and that makes this one really hard to clip in there. I keep a flashlight on my other side, and I don't want this big old thing stuck in the same pocket as my flashlight and my keys and everything else. So as soon as I decide to carry in that format, it makes it close to impossible to carry a larger Leatherman. Traditionally, I had the Skeletal CX, and if you're new to Leathermans or you just mostly need a knife but want a few extra tools, this is by far probably my favorite Leatherman to date. It's super lightweight. It has all the basic features. It has the knife. It has, you know, the pliers, the small pliers, and also the bit driver right here, and the extra bit down here. I carried this and have carried it probably for the last, I don't know, 4 years or so, and I love it. And it's being replaced only by this because I wanted to try this out and enjoy the rest of the tools that it comes with. So these are them side by side. If you get an idea, they're actually not too different in their height. They're definitely different in weight. You can't quote me on all this stuff. Like I said, I'm new to this. If I was a professional YouTuber, I'd probably have all the stats for you. But I want to say this comes in at like 8.5 ounces, and this is like right at 5. So it's a pretty big difference of weight. But I still wanted to try this out because I love all the tools that this has in it. And to be honest, I've also started using the little Leatherman Squirt PS4. So this one's, you know, something I'll still use, but probably just have this in my pocket from now on and use this for days where I'm wearing a really light pair of shorts, or put it somewhere where I can get more use out of it. But anyway, it did get engraved. Let me show this to you. For those of you, I noticed that there's a lot of guys online that I don't know that I've seen any guys with engraved Black Oxide. So I was really curious what it was going to look like when they got it. I am a Coast Guard veteran, so I had them put the Coast Guard motto, Semper Paratus, which is kind of fitting for the Leatherman because it stands for always ready. So this Leatherman can be so handy. You can use it for so many different things that I thought it was a great little thing to put on there. I didn't want to put my name on there. That wasn't my cup of tea, and I thought it was a nice little way to do it. It is not totally clear. I wanted to be able to show you guys. It's not totally clear what they've done for this engraving. I can definitely feel it there. It has a different color to it than if it would be stainless, but maybe it is just going down through the stainless and it just looks a little subdued or a little dull. But thought there would be some guys out there that wanted to see exactly what it looks like when they order it in Black Oxide, but decide that they want to get it engraved. So anyway, a couple little notes on the Black Oxide as well, a couple tips. I've heard tons of people talk about when they get this thing and any of the bit kits or any of the things that come in Black Oxide, they get black all over their hands. And that is totally true, and it can be super frustrating. But it hasn't happened with me, to be honest with you. The very first thing I did when I got this out is I came out here to my garage and I got some gun cleaner and just used a gun brush. You know, you guys can pick these things up. I just used this brush and dumped it in the cleaner. You can use this end for the small little, you know, nooks and crannies down in here. And you just literally scrub this entire thing off and let it sit for a few, and then you can wipe it down with a rag. And it will never get black on your fingers after that. So you can get rid of the black stuff that's going to happen that so many people are upset about within an hour's time. Just a little bit of time cleaning. When I get done cleaning it, I put a little oil on it. I think in my case, I put a little Remington gun oil down in here in the spots and all the places that it came with oil. And the other thing I do is right after I clean it off from all the cleaner, the gun cleaner, you can go, this looks pretty bad, but you can go and pick up these silicone cloth and just pick these up for real cheap. These are great to have for your pistols and everything else. But as soon as I was done wiping it off with a rag and getting the gun cleaner off, I just wipe this down. I mean, you can get fingerprints all over this thing, and you just literally wipe them right off, and it cleans it up real nice. As soon as I wiped this off and I carefully wiped down all the blades and all the stuff on the inside, I was totally good to go. It's a non-issue after that, and you won't have black stuff coming off on your hands, you know, for days and days. So that's my tip as far as that goes. I did the same thing even with the bit extender so that I was able to clean it off. And another good thing about this is every once in a while with your Leathermans and stuff, even regular stainless and everything, is I would just take this thing and really carefully, you know, open it up and clean the blades off and stuff. And it keeps a nice film on there. And I think it probably helps a little bit with the rust, although I try to dry these things off if I use them. But it's been a great little rag that I can wipe everything down with, and really keeps everything in good shape because I try to take really good care of these things. So without further ado, I don't need to go into too much detail. Most of you guys that are into the Wave are mostly curious about the number one change, and that is the pliers. So just my personal input on this. I haven't owned a Wave before, so there's a lot of people that seem like they're very upset with Leatherman for just, you know, throwing something together for 2018 and just doing this and not doing anything else with the tool. I sort of disagree, and the only reason I say that is this is their number one seller. So, you know, they're kind of damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. If they make a big change or take a tool out or replace a tool, somebody's going to be frustrated. And if they don't add a tool or they don't bring a tool they think should be in it, somebody's going to be frustrated. So I think the number one thing people were asking for was to make these cutters replaceable, and they've done that. So in my opinion, I think it's a win-win for anybody. I'd love to see Leatherman have some more ideas come out in the future. That would be great. But I think they would have been crazy to get crazy and elaborate and do something crazy to change the Wave other than doing exactly what the customers have asked them to do, which is to make these cutters replaceable, and that's what they've done. So just a very, very quick overview. I wanted to give you guys a close-up. I didn't see a ton of close-ups on other videos so that you guys can see exactly. Let me wipe this off real quick. I didn't see a ton of people do really close-ups, and if you guys really want to see what you're looking at there, that way you can see how it came out, how thin it is, how it compares. I don't have another Wave, so I can't compare it to that. I have a couple other Leathermans that I can show you here in a minute, but that's the replaceable cutters. That's how it came out. So it's got a really nice, good fine tip on here. You know, it's good Leatherman quality. I know that there's a lot of people, let me give you an example. I know there's a lot of people that say that they're concerned because, you know, they've got the replaceable cutters. This is the Super Tool 300. And it's a giant tool. I can put them side by side and you can see them, but it's a giant tool. So they've obviously reinforced this to be a tool for bigger jobs. So there's people that have said that without this portion here, this beefed up portion here, that, you know, these things are just going to break, and I'm not going to buy one until after they've figured out how often they're going to break and fix the problem. But I would hope they've done some research, but I think it'll be just fine. You know, they have a great warranty. If it breaks, yeah, that'll suck, but I'll just send it back and they can fix it. But yeah, it's definitely not as beefy here, but they're also not as big a tool as the Super Tool 300 or some of those other bigger tools. So what's the point of getting crazy? They wanted to keep this profile the same. You know, how mad would you guys have been if they went out and changed something and you're used to carrying this in some type of sheath? The sheath that I ordered for it is a really cool sheath, but they kept these diameters the same. So, I mean, I think it's a win-win. And I think that these cutters, for what they are and the size of this tool, are going to be just fine. You know, only time will tell. But, you know, to give you an idea, I can put them side by side here and open these up. And you can see how much bigger the Super Tool is. I can close them up and you guys can see side to side. You know, they make these tools for different jobs. Obviously, the pliers in this little baby isn't going to be, you know, grandiose and ready to tackle the biggest task. But at the same time, now look at these tools side by side. Of course this is a beefier tool, you know? So I think it should be just great. I'm not too worried about it. I'm excited to use it. Just real quick, for those of you that don't know what's on here, it just comes with a regular blade, saw blade. You flip it over. This jimping here is what tells you that this is the serrated blade. And then they have the file, which is diamond on one side and kind of regular on the other side. And like I said, forgive me, I'm not perfect at this because I'm pretty new to this. Open it up, and like I said, you already saw the cutters. And they also have the bit driver, which I'm going to keep out so I can show you. And let's see if I can get it out here. There's the can opener, bottle opener, and I think that's a this little wedge right here is for wire stripping. Then on this other side, you know, they're not the biggest scissors. Wait, that's the flat head. There's a flat head. A lot of people use this as kind of a minor pry bar. I think it'd get a can of paint open or do some basic tasks. Some people think this is a waste. I think there's probably a lot of people that'll use it, but to each their own. Then they have the mini screwdriver right there, and then the tiny little scissors. So most of you have already done your research and know what these are about. You just wanted to know about the Wave Plus. So I did want to share one other thing that I found out through Leatherman. If you like Leathermans as much as me, it's just a tidbit of